doom, 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 doom. Yeah, do, 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 do. We're gonna get right started. Let me get my tea. Get my tea real fast. Yep, we good. I was gonna say peace to everybody. Hope everybody having a good day. Had a little time. So in my time, I like to jump on here and holler at the people and do some community service. You know, if you like the teachings, respond. I definitely welcome you to class. We have a book club on Fridays at I think it's 7 p.m. AZ time zone. If I'm not mistaken, our Mufti minister Gregory Mossel L. He hosts the class. Saturday at 10:30 a.m. AZ time zone, we have Adapt History, Civics, and Sunday we have our spiritual Sunday school. And you're more than welcome to be my private guest on StreamYard. But we do broadcast it live here on social media. You can subscribe to our Temple and School page on YouTube, Burning Bush Tabernacle Science Temple and School. Like I said, if you want to come to Sunday school, adapt class, or book club and be my guest, you got to do is hit me up. I'm not here to debate or argue with no one. I'm here to show you that you do have a rich history, and it's not to make no one feel bad. It's for you to feel proud. Just like everyone have the right to be proud of their rich history and to teach it, which is your rights. And we teach civics, we teach history from no bias perspective. And I have a plethora of documents that scholarship, far as historical, far as lawfully, far as a national side. And like I said, it's nothing to, how can I say it? It's okay to be who you are, and the world don't have a problem with it. Now, when people do things as radicals, then that's, you know, that's the difference. But it is a thing in academia called Eurocentric and Negrocentric propaganda. And when I talk about history, when a lot of our brothers and sisters, they talk the black stuff, you can't say you know law if you know black, if you say black, you know? You just can't say that. And that's all I'm here to say with my brothers and sisters. If a lot of times, a lot of our brothers may not know. A lot of times our brothers and sisters may not know no one that's educated, anointed, that come from, how can I say, spiritual houses. And that's what they do to the misnumbered black man. They make you think and believe that no one in history, no one looked like you have done things. And as I do lectures, as I travel, I know so many bookstores that you have so many good people that was melanated that done things. Our prophet just started the Moorish Science Temple of America, but you had the Black Hitler of Harlem, you had Deuce Muhammad, you had other ministers that was mystics that I talk about. You had Wentworth Matthews, you have the Moorish Zionist Temple of the Moorish Jews, you have Credo Matua, you have Sheikh Bimbo Falls, the Moradines. So it's so much history. When I say it's one nationality and many cultures, and you can't let no one tell your story, not even the one that look like you that's biased or have a religious perspective. We're talking about scholarship, things that can be proven. Even when I talk about the Sibyls, a lot of our melanated people don't know who the Sibyls are because a European that's a lower level Mason, they know what I'm talking about. The Catholic Church took all that stuff out the Bible, what the Sibyls were. When Paul was on the road to Damascus to colonize, he was going to an area where they had their own gods. The whole concept of the god was a woman. They had the god Artemis. And then you see in the museums, they changed them and whitewashed them. I've been giving references forever. The only people that's going to lie to you is people that look like you. And there's no disrespect. I tell a lot of my brothers that's Freemasons. I said, you can't keep making that lie up. Now, joining things when, how can I say it? Being a part of a brotherhood is a good thing. Don't get me wrong. But having a secret when something you say is secret is nothing secret. It's sacred with us, but nothing is secret. What is secret if you're going to save humanity? If you believe concepts to replenish the world? What is the use? What is the use for me to have some wisdom and some knowledge and some understanding if I'm not constantly courting my people, saying, "Come on, people, come on, people." My people are lost due to a lack of knowledge because we refuse to learn. Others study this, they write about you, and then they write books to connotate you, especially if you don't know what you know. If you don't know for sure, then they have write pseudo books to make you think that you're exactly what they saying when they know they lying. When it's a European, no disrespect, a trailer dyke, a Eurocentric and a Negrocentric propaganda. That Caucasus Mountain, that's a whole Bloomberg thing. You know? When I talk about first century writers, you know, it's and no one had a problem. That was different melanations to tell what they saw. When I talk about first century writers, and I've been doing this for a while, and that's why I say we have to come together. Brothers and sisters, we having their own platform. And I say, what is this? Ego? Is this lower self? Especially if a person, they brag about not, oh, well, the white man this, the white man this, and brag, where you want to go? Because America is the only place, the land of the free, the home of the brave. People come here from dictator countries and become millionaires, doctors, and people here on welfare, talking about overthrowing the government, sovereign citizens, trash. And acting like wisdom ain't all that. But then we say we kings and queens. Where are the kings and queens at? Where are the educated ones? If the first university was in Salamanca, Spain, and Timbuktu, and all this stuff, where are the Moors that's educated? Where are the Moors that's clock of destiny? You're gonna see a whole bunch of Moors with that in living color, jailhouse, what they talking about? Black Laws Dictionary, and we don't even use that in a court of law. You know, what do you want your kid to aspire to? What do you want your daughter to aspire to? So you're telling us we're not going to build and connect. We just going to operate on pretense. And when people say, Noah Drawley said this and did this and the temple of this, how do a person know if they're not part of it? How? How? Especially if you're going on like on your own, like I've done. The blessing that I had, I'm from Flint, Michigan. I have elders, and I've been through different ranks of different spiritual houses. I have a mother and a father, and I'm educated as well. Not saying that I'm better than no one, and I'm part of Moorish Science Temple of America. But what I had the pleasure to see is investigate, because I wasn't going nowhere with my eyes wide shut. When I was out here in Arizona, if anybody been following me for years, I have my own building. I have my own metaphysical building. I brought people into my building. I was able to see them with the eye. And a lot of them brothers wasn't operating right. They were sovereign citizens trying to overthrow the government. They didn't even have a Moorish Quran. It wasn't no teachings. And so once a lot of things that was given to me from elders and other places that's free because it's public information, I started revealing things and asking questions as a student should. I started seeing how a lot of those so-called sheiks from Chicago was committing fraud, filing fake taxes, and then talk about they taxes in for the federal government. Then if that's the case, how you went to prison and got everybody in trouble for that and preyed upon people not knowing, especially seniors. And see, I don't have to say names because I'm just saying whoever did it, they know I'm telling the truth, because when they come down, I'm going to start pulling out all documents. Just like they said the 1099 was some trust fund at the end of the rainbow. That ain't nothing but a religious affidavit that anybody can get from the CCRD, the County Clerk Recorder of Deeds. People just be lying to y'all, you know, and you can't change law. It's what it is. We're a nation of laws. If nationality is the order of the day, well then what? That's have to do with what? Laws. So you cannot play law when you want to. You can't say this don't pertain to you. Then when you want to get in trouble or do this and do this, you want to use the laws to defend yourself. That's an oxymoron. Just like a sovereign citizen. How are you going to be a sovereign and a citizen at the same time? You go to jail just like the European militia. It's a European game. Just like I showed y'all, Roger Elvik. Listen to what I'm saying. Research Roger Elvik, the European that showed them people that they're selling them packages the same way that these Negroes and these Europeans be doing to everybody on TikTok. And they ain't nothing but a RICO law. Look up the Paradigm Group. What happened? Jail, 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 jail. And this is what I be telling people. They don't want to listen, so they go to jail. We have to come together. We talk about all these old books. What was the Black Christian codes? We couldn't even come together then. We couldn't even have social media. You had to have an overseer or a misnomer Negro that didn't know who we were to preach that slavery gospel to you. It's Bibles for the slave. And when I be speaking to my brothers and sisters, I was able to do this on a college campus. That's why I tell people, look me up. How can I do something? I have a degree in Christian history and first century Christian history, linguistics. Look me up from Grand Canyon University. I have a dual master degree in linguistics. I have an undergrad in business management with a minor in marketing and sales and nonprofit business startup. Not saying that I'm better than no one, but I'm just saying the history. I've ran businesses. It's just like if your kid was going to school, they'd be like, man, the professor is good. It's on you to take these keys. It's for us to come together as community. One body, and many parts. And that's what this is about. And it is misnumbered black people as gatekeeper. A gatekeeper is a misnumbered Negro. It could be a Mason, it could be a fraternity brother, it could be a pro-black person, it can be a Moor, whoever it is that keep other brothers from coming in. That's what a lot of people do. They keep other brothers from coming in. That's why you see poor teachers in our communities. That's why you see people just doing things for jobs, for money, and the good people that can teach, which we should be having seventh hour like the European Jews, we don't. We don't donate our money where it should go and get a tax-exempt receipt. Why? Because we weren't educated on this. And I'm telling you, I was educated on this, and I'm willing to come back and teach something to my people and show you something. But we refuse to learn, so we suffer. Especially if you say Black Lives Matters, and especially if you say you down with reparations. Well, how can you be down with reparations, but at the same time and in the same breath say Black Lives Matter? And according to science and law, black mean death. No misnomer black person is never going to get no payout for no reparations. The only person in history that ever got a payout or anything for reparations was the person that made the Negro black and colored. These is facts. You must restore yourself back to your original state before you were tampered with. Read the Declaration of Human Rights, Article 15. You have a right of a nationality and a right to change it. And the claim of child replaces the birth certificate. And no one will be arbitrarily denied of a nationality and a right to change it. This is law. When I ask people about signing your name in the SF 181 form pertaining to ethnicity, and nobody don't know what the hell I'm talking about. When I talk about the religious rights for indigenous people, the House Joint Resolution 75, where it was illegal to be a Negro, black, or colored, or African American ever since the 1800s. When I tell you that the Dred Scott Law was never, ever, 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 ever abolished. So if the Dred Scott Law was never abolished, that means the Dred Scott Law was never overturned. So what that mean? That means there's no laws that nobody have to obey for Negro, black, or colored, or Negroes. Think about it. Research it. It was on Jeopardy. These is facts, and your kids is not going to know this. Why? Because we refuse to learn. We will still promulgate a lie and act like it don't matter. But then in the same breath, talk about some reparations now, and everybody wears shirts talk about some Black Lives Matter, and black people don't even run Black Lives Matter. I can show you history that Black Lives Matter gave millions and millions to the police officers. And this is what I be telling us. We get behind movements that's meaningless. And when we have something that's real, we can support it. If nationality, the order of the day, is just like any other petition. It's just like any other petition. When you understand the SF 181 form, and then you understand the SF 180 form, the SF 180 form, because this is military. The SF 180 form is pertaining when you can write and say, well, why do you feel this, or changes need to be made? And when people come together, that's when movement happened. It happened with the so-called gay rights. It happened with the HIV movement. When I showed Tim Wise' video yesterday on my page yesterday from a European perspective, speaking the same way I speak. Why don't we share this with our people, especially if we Moors, if we got influence on other people? Why don't we bring them to the storehouse? Why do we feel we have to be the only one? We'll never have nothing. And that's what happens with us. We want to take something, and then try to twist it up and get everybody in trouble. Because that's not our profession. We should be students of things. Just like when Harry Belafonte was telling all those entertainers and those athletes, like, hey, I need you to make that money and support this. We got the right ones to do this. The one that's qualified and anointed and consecrated, that been through the fire, that can speak on both levels, that can bring their own chair and table. When I tell people, I never debate no one. I only debate my equals. Why would I be debating, especially my own brother that look like me? I don't want to make nobody that look like me a fool, especially if you say you a scholar, and if I put the scholarship in front of you and prove what you're saying is totally hogwash, it's totally Negro-centric and Eurocentric propaganda, that tell you that your own brothers and sisters are the enemy. That tell you, and we got to get out of that color stuff. That color stuff is meaningless. If I can come out to Arizona and have colleagues help me, just like the prophet said, he said, I'm going to show you how the others will help you before your own people. If you're righteous, because most Europeans, police officers, judges are lower level Freemasons. I know so many Scottish Rite Masons out here. I know so many Scottish Rite Masons that know who Noble Drew Ali is. Hell, I showed y'all the video of the Scottish Rite European Mason giving credit to Noble Drew Ali on his 135th birthday. But then here it is, as melanated, misnomer black people act like they don't know who Noble Drew Ali is. All these Masons, these lower level mystic Masons, that's Prince Hall Masons, and they preachers in a misnomer black church, they act like they don't know who Noble Drew Ali is while wearing their fez and clandestine. That's sad as hell. And then they call themselves a widow's son. That's a slap in the face to even those preachers that's Mason, because I know a lot of them. That's a slap in the face, because if you a real God man, you don't take no oath. You don't have no God over you, because every lower level Mason has a potentate. This ain't no lower level Mason with me. We initiated through the wisdom, just like the biblical scripture says. Brotherhood is like sweet oil being poured down to your head, down to your beard, onto your shirt. The initiation is the wisdom. The type of moral science that Islam this is under is tasawwuf. This is Sufi, mapping a guide. This ain't no oath. This is imparting wisdom to your brothers and sisters. And if it was some good, why do brothers and sisters play that mystic stuff and know when you go into the Masonic house and you open the tables, everything I'm talking about is on the Masonic table, and they won't really tell you what the checkerboard is about? Why you think the European Masons got Islam in Mecca and Arabia on their fans? Why you think that your mama, if she an Eastern Star, won't tell you the truth of the Eastern Star, that they under the DAR, which is the Daughters of American Revolution, where the so-called marriage contract came from? Why, if that's the case, why they don't wear their fez freely? Why their fez is pinned down? Because they wisdom don't spin freely. Why do they have pentagrams on their fez instead of the circles? See, we letting people separate us. They use religion, all type of. I'm a Mason. I'm a Muslim. I'm a this. I'm a Hebrew Israelite. I'm a this. Well, we're using all the same books. It's one nationality, many cultures. You reading it wrong. Moors were from the tribe of Judah, lineage of David by blood. How can it be anything else? And then when I deal with Islam, with my brothers that don't understand, you got the same forefathers. We ain't talking about no Arabian nothing. Even with my Christian brothers and sisters, when I open up the scriptures as a God man does, well, the followers of Yahshua wore a turban with the jewel on it and a bonnet. The high priest wore a tunic, cotton or silk, with the girdle. I mean, your fez that you wear, you see it's so prophetic in masonry. Your topi, your beni, you see that. And then the analogy, the parable, is Leviticus 25:10, aka the Liberty Bell. That's the esoteric science in it. When you take the saw fez and turn it inside out, it's the what? The Liberty Bell, the gong. And I can show you that the fez on a lot of other nationalities in Europe is the coat of arms. When I take you to the Netherlands and I show you the Corsica flag, it's the Moorish head. We talk about Swarty Pie, aka Black Pete. See, this is no disrespect to no one. This is an education. And if I didn't know what I was talking about, how did I graduate from university? And this is what I'd be telling people. We're not going to let nobody come on here disrespecting us because we're not going to tell that bullcrap story no more. Especially from lower level Masons. Like I had a Mason on my page the other day playing the game. Like, oh, where you get your information from? How can you prove? I said, man, I get my same information where your potentate get it from. See, these be these snowmen, and I told you that's to cause confusion. They always got to reveal themselves. They'll try to give you praises and then try to insult you in the same breath. But see, I know that game. I know that game. Been past that game. I'm 48 years young. I'm from Flint, Michigan. My dad and them, I done been through that. My father and them, I've been through that. So I know all this from face value. So when we talk about things historically, just like Steve Coakley was telling you that the Greek is a fraud, just like Stolen Legacy, George G.M. James, just like Sign the Symbol of the Primordial Man by Albert Churchward, and he wrote a plethora of more books. Just like Godfrey Higgins, when you talk about the religious thing and aspect, which I'm going to break down in a different book, research Godfrey Higgins. I got all these documents, these books. I turned them to PDFs so you can have them. We print them and bind them with our companies. It's no denying this. Just like my professor is a European potentate out here and a judge. Just like when Nick Cannon, when all that black lot, when all that Hebrew stuff, when Kyrie Irving talk about he a Hebrew, but now he a practicing Muslim, you see how quick he switched on y'all. But when Professor Griff went on Nick Cannon show and they was saying that was anti-Semitic and all this, and my professor is a European Jew, he said, oh, they couldn't have had you on there because you would have came with their books and they would have researched who you are. When they would have came with that stuff, I would have came with all the Jewish encyclopedias and they would have told exactly who they are. I would have came with the facts of where the phrase anti-Semitic came from and who made it up. From scholarship, from love, from no disrespect. Couldn't have said nothing. I would have came with documents. Hell, Henry Ford wrote a book about the international Jew. Research what Henry Ford was talking about. Research what the second president of Egypt was talking about. Why Israel was a curse because God's people left black and came back white. There's no disrespect to no one. Then you start talking about Spain and if the Jews ruled Spain, who were the Jews? They were the Moors. Then you start looking up in encyclopedia Hebrew, Jew, Jewish, and start reading and start connecting the dots. If you don't have the eyes to see, come to class. No professor, no educator can deny what I'm saying. And then, just like when no disrespect, because I gotta say this with love, and I don't have no dog in the fight in either one of the brothers' perspective, but I'll be telling people when you lie to the people on social media, and when you think you have some information, and you can get destroyed real fast from lower level, how can I say, biblical students that just telling a story, and you don't even know it, how can I say, combat that, or even how can I say it? What's the right word? I forget, but anyway, that's what happens to you. So when the brother Billy Carson was debating the European or white boy, no disrespect, the Albion, the Trinidad, whatever, the Christian brother, whatever, because when they be saying black dude, I'll be telling people I'm not black. When people say you can't call me black, where I'm gonna call you an Albion or a Trinidad, whatever one you want. I tell you I'm not black. You gonna call me a Moor, or you gonna call me by my name? I'm not black and ain't none of that. I tell you who I am out my mouth, point blank. And it's disrespect. Even when your own brother say that, and I tell you, I don't use those words with us, the NIGGA. I don't use that because I don't identify that, and I don't look at you as that, no matter how much we disagree. No matter how much we disagree, I'm not gonna do you like that. But when I tell people that you have to be careful when people be acting like they got some secret wisdom, if anybody been knowing me, I've been telling everybody that some Anunnaki is not no alien. And that's no disrespect again. That's a European, a Negro, a Eurocentric, Negrocentric Mason gang that come from Zachariah Stitchin. And when the brother was in that conscious community with the little tail on his head, I said, you referencing pseudo-academia. And so when people start thinking that, you get twisted. And then they be taking Farrakhan's words out of context when you're like, Farrakhan talk. If you really understand, and if Farrakhan was right here next to me, because I know Farrakhan and Mason too. I know what type of Mason he is. That's why, man, I'm 99 degrees of ancient rite of Memphis and Mizraim. I tell people the facts of who I am. But anyway, what I'm saying is they know. They know what they talking about, and they base their understanding on the Bible. What Ezekiel saw the wheel. They ain't talking about no spaceship. Then they put themselves in it like, oh, they saw this and then spaceship, this and that. Just like, no disrespect, Dr. York did, and these people are trying to make it seem like this, but they basing all their understanding on biblical history, or biblical stories, or based on old stories where the Bible got things from. And I'll show y'all this later. A lot of stuff come from older writers that a lot of the common man and even people that think they're heavy don't know. Why? Because you weren't introduced to it. And it's just facts. These books, the Septuagint and the Codex Sinaiticus, this stuff is not old. And when you start reading these things and people be thinking the Greek, there wasn't no Greek, though, it was Hebrews doing things, writing in Greek. You have to understand this, a lot of history, when people be trying to make it seem this and that and the other. And if the Carson dude was historical, he could know and say, well, I'm not talking about that book. I'm talking about this one, that it is referenced. But you don't know because you're trying to be slick and you're not a real scholar. You don't have no secret nothing. That's why things can be destroyed easy when people come with that Eurocentric and that Negro-centric perspective, especially the Eurocentric perspective. Because when they come with that European perspective, no disrespect, I'm going to come with the first century writers. I'm going to come with Godfrey Higgins. I'm going to come with all the first century writers. And I say, I hear what you're saying, but none of the stuff is original. And you're telling a whole different story. When I deal with the one world Tartarians, when I show you that nobody came over here on no boat like that, when I show you the true history of what was here, scholarship is going to all be Europeans. And then I'm going to break a little bit of first century writers down, and then I'm going to get into the little Turban thing, and I might drop a little bit more science. I'm going to offer an expensive book. Somebody tell me how much this book costs on Amazon. This is what I be telling y'all when they say they don't be worried about us, they be studying us to a T. When I do lectures on the college campus, I have all these books I converted to PDF. Or you can get from my company, hard copy. When I'm in ministry, when I'm lecturing, I'll be giving PDF books away for small prices. If somebody to take the time, you got to be like, why the hell did this book cost thousands of dollars? And then the other books that I'll be showing, and I'll just be specific on one book, is called Melanin, the chemical element to black greatness. That costs about a couple grand. Now here go two books I'm showing you that I have access to that you can get PDF or print it and bind it for me that costs damn near $6,000. And you ain't interested in that, you want to get that, and you're not inclined to get it, but to go waste your money, when I won't say waste, because you can do whatever you want to do. But then say we know something we don't know. A lot of stuff was written, just like in hidden history, they have the cartographers. They wrote what they saw in first century. Just like when I talk about Godfrey Higgins and all other first century writers, when I talk about the Ancient and Modern Britons by David McRitchie, the Ancient and Modern Britons. Not no ancient black Britons, the Ancient and Modern Britons. When I talk about Russian icons by Vladimir Ivanov, the Russian icons, I have the books. I converted them to PDF. You know, this you want to have these expensive pieces of research, and then when you read it, it says this is for scholarship. You want that. Ain't no such thing as no ancient black. Even Bertram Thomas wrote a plethora of books, but one specific book that stick out in my hippocampus is the Arab by Bertram Thomas, where he tell you what the ancient Arab is. And then Vladimir Dale's Ancient Dictionary and you can see his explanation and his dictionary definition of an Arab. What an Arab is, what an ancient Arab is, an A-R-A-P, not an A-R-A-B, an A-R-A-P. Fact check me on this stuff, and see and what the lower self does, and Eurocentric and Negrocentric propaganda does, is get mad. Well, you can't get mad at the truth and what was written in scholarship. You got to say either you were sincerely wrong or you have a motive. What? Propaganda. Anyway, you know. And so that's what we're saying here as a group of people uniting, especially if under the sound voice and the United of Asia. It's not going, we don't got to move to no Africa. The United of Asia is people coming together in a certain area. You know, could you survey the land? Oh yeah, yeah, you can do all that things. But America is great. For people to say America's not great, especially for people that come here and say America's not great, they come here and make all their money. Yeah, to send it home, but America got to be great if you can do that here. If you can come from a country with nothing and come here and have something. So let me give y'all a couple of first century writers, so we won't get caught up in propaganda. I'm going to be quoting some historians from first century. Have your pen. If you don't remember who I'm saying, I'll go over them again. But you had James Anderson in 1911. It was called The Riddles of Prehistoric Times. And he says, and I quote, this little black Welshman, Scott, Celt, settled in France. Gonchis, Guanchis, of the Canary Island, France, Ireland, Spain, and the British Island, and all over Europe. When I be telling you, your last name is not a slave name. No disrespect to my Al Islam brothers, but I'm not no slave. Your last name is your family crest, your coat of arms. Remember Empress Gostin El Bey. Remember, they changed your name. They changed the name from Tunic to Turner. Washington. Washita to Washington. These is facts, man. No disrespect. You have a family crest of your coat of arms. Your family. These is facts. You have to know this. When y'all see the Moorish heads and all that, and y'all see all the different queens in it, because another ancient book by Tenzer is the Hidden Cause of the Civil War. That's another expensive book, because if you had a tittle of Negro blood in you, you was a Negro. And see, this is what they're not gonna teach your kids in school, and they make the books expensive as heck on Amazon for no common person to have them. You have to be especial or introduced to a special society to have them, like I have and do, and other people, and I bring it back to my people. That's why I keep trying to tell us it's worth it. We can't act like we don't know when something hidden. It's nothing hidden. That's a lazy excuse for Negroes, for slaves. That's a lazy excuse to have kids on the Moors. Don't hear to have kids and you don't have a library. And here it is, a Moor, a brother, a God man, a sheik, a rabbi with a full library with over 1 million books and documents, and you ain't freaking with him, and he ain't blew up, and people ain't supporting it. And say, hey man, we want to make sure this man get it the brick and mortar library, his temple, his computer lab, so he can do what we need to do. That's what this is for. So we can teach our kids. It's misnomer black universities that I know, their library is not even extensive as mine. How are you gonna have misnomer black kids on a university campus and they don't know who J.A. Rogers is? They don't know who Carter G. Woodson is. They don't have a full library with these first century writers, scholars. Amos Wilson, Chancellor Wilson, Sheikh Anta Diop, the brother that wrote The Conspiracy to Destroy Black Boys and Girls. Why? Why are we not? Sharice L. McIntyre, the one that wrote Criminalizing Their Race. But look how much they charge the book on Amazon. Look now, the thing I want to know is she charging that much for this book? Because if she charging that much for this book, and see, that's the real question you want to ask. Because I know, see, this is the thing I know about business, why none of my books you can get on Amazon. All my books, anything that I promote, I took the chance to create our own company, which is mypdfbooks.com. That's books with the Z. And binditbooks.com, where I took the chance to sell my own books on my own platform. And collect all the proceeds and be able to donate a part of the proceeds that I get to help people. So what I'm saying, I go back. If she's selling this book, if you go on Amazon and this book costs about $3,000? I forget how much it costs on Amazon. Somebody pull it up. I know it's more than a couple $100. If she's selling that book that much on Amazon, how much she getting? How much Amazon getting? Because I know Amazon take a plethora of your money and give you pennies. How? And no disrespect to my sister if she's watching, but I know, for instance, if Amazon sell your book for, I'd just say $12, Amazon gonna give you maybe $1.50, maybe $2, maybe. So I asked the person, why do you be so happy to sell your book on Amazon? For them to take majority of your proceeds and give you pennies and take the big piece, or take the time to do your own platform, print your own books, and distribute them your own, and build that trust in real life, like I've done doing business. Or we do it together. You get with a brother that got a web page and say, hey man, we could do our own thing. Because Amazon is just a third party distribution house. It don't produce nothing, but it is now because it's making money. So once again, this book got to be overpriced because no paper in the world is worth this much money. I got another book called the 100 something about the black Indian of the Western Hemisphere, and the book was like on Amazon. It was almost $250,000 at one point. And I wrote the dude. I said, man, you got to be a clown if you think anybody gonna pay for that book that much. I said, here it is. You trying to sell a book for $250,000 on Amazon, but you quoting 3 books that's only $20 on Amazon. One of them was 15. How I know I'm a scholar and I dissect everything and I have it. And I said, how you gonna sell a product and the stuff that you quoting in the product that you selling for $250,000, you can get all the information for less, for shit, a tittle of what you're trying to sell your information for. You see how we do each other? You see? And then this book right here, if you go in there, no paper is worth that much because this is paper now. This is only paper. This is really, not think about it. This is only paper. Why is it all that much money on Amazon? It got to be something in there. And here it is, your brother have this. And they can burn the books up right now. And I can regurgitate them right up from the brain. And I have them all in different databases in all different places. I can replenish them. My muftis can replenish them. We have them. That's why one of my professors said, man, your library is more extensive than our universities. So the Professor Winchell Alexander, one of his books is called Our Remote Ancestry, 1815 and 1900, collection of journals. These short black men came from Atlantis, North Africa, and they overran Europe. They were known as Britons. What Britons? I told y'all, the ancient and modern Britons. Roman historian Tacitus, the origin, the ancient and modern Britons is from David McRitchie. He got 2 volumes. You can get that from me. Download it on your tablet so you can travel with it. You're not carrying a whole bunch of books with you. That don't even make sense. The Roman historian Tacitus, the origins of the Black Britons, the Iberians. You know the Iberians that people talk about, the Anunnaki. They're the Iberians. I'm gonna show you all the picture of what people be saying the Iberians when I go back up to the Greek restaurant. My people from Russia own them. You know, a lot of them, and some Bosnian. And they got the painted tablets on the wall. They're like, that ain't no Anunnaki. They're like, that's an Iberian. They're like, Sheik, you know who that is. Just like when you get the Hebrew, when you get the lexicon, and you see the attire, the girdle, the sash, the fez, the topi. He might have his blade or his sandals on. You see his hair. You see his cornrows. It's a joke. And then you know it's a joke because all animal figures are nothing but pious hieroglyphs. It's just like in Egypt when they be with that alien stuff, when you see a animal head with a body, you have to know what that means. That's your animal instinct per se. Peace, 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 love, and who that? My noble mufti, Brian Hicks Bay. Peace and love, brother. Love you, man. You already know that. Peace and love to you, noble. That's my brother. My mufti minister, Brian Hicks Bay. I think he's in Atlanta. My mufti's all over, man. I love y'all. But anyway, the Iberians are the black people with curly hair. So when you talk about some Anunnaki, look at the Anunnaki. Look at their hair. Anthropological Review Society, London, Volume 8. Joseph Ritson's Annals of Caledonian, Picts and Scots, Volume 2, page 7 and 27. These Picts, Brits, are brown complexion with curly hair. Ivan Van Sertima, African presence in early Europe, page 225. The Iberians, the Britons look like the Ethiopians. Albert Churchward, y'all heard me talking about Albert Churchward. 1912. In one of his books called The Origins and Evolutions. All my muftis probably have them. On page 12 and 13, the Black Basquiat were exterminated from Europe. Professor Boyd Dawkins. They know who Professor Boyd Dawkins is, our earliest ancestors. And just like remember the name, y'all, Godfrey Higgins. Remember the name Godfrey Higgins. When they be trying to come with all that, all this and that, and replacing you, nah, man, we're not going to even play that game. And even our own misnomer preachers that do that. That's why the scriptures be saying, woe to you lying preachers. That's why they don't want you to know about the constellations and the stars and all that, because it's going to keep you scary. It's going to keep you on your knees. And you must know the companions knew the inner teachings of the scriptures. If the Bible or any holy book is written in analogy and parable and symbology and is written in language, and you must know the language, and then you mistranslate it or try to transliterate it, you're wrong. You have misinterpreted the text. And that's what a lot of our own people do. It's just a fact. Professor Boyd Walker's our earliest ancestors. Bygone days, a lecture delivered in the public hall, Cooleyhurst, Manchester, 1/18/1879. The ancient Britons, Irish, Scots are a short black people. So it's over with people arguing with that, trying to tell you that all misnomer black people came from some Africa. And then we get more scholarship. We get the One World Tartarian, and we can go to the Royal Archives where everybody say it's so right. And let's see what the numbers, let's see what they say about slavery. Let's really talk about it. And they don't want to. So it proves that what you teaching and what any misnomer black person teaching, that say you love you, your preacher, your educator, that pro-black stuff, that we from out of Africa, all that dashiki stuff, but I love the dashiki, that's biblical. But all that pro-black and we black and not knowing language and history and then trying to connect spirituality with some false pretense, we should be done with that. But what we like, we don't like truth. What we like, characters. It's just like in politics, we don't vote for who we like. We don't vote for who we right. We vote for who we like, for who's speaking the loudest. That's what we do, because Negroes want to be nigger-tained. Excuse my candor. It's just like that. If you know, according to science and law, black mean deaf, and then you going to see somebody and spending your hard-earned dollars to hear somebody lecture to talk that black stuff, that's your fault. That's your fault. You can't take that black stuff to no court, no law, nowhere. Yeah, I understand what you're saying metaphysically, dealing with melanin, but according to science and law, and they talking that reparation stuff, you got to be retarded. You see? This is what I'm saying. We got to hold our own people accountable. Like, what are we talking about? The Europeans know exactly what I'm talking about. They know it. They'll let us get woed to sleep with this crap. That's why I be telling people, Ben Crump know what I'm saying. That attorney that always there for anything happen to a misnomer black person, he know misnomer Negroes ain't gonna get no reparations. But what they'll do, he'll deal with litigation, because he know the two parties are gonna get paid. Who? The two attorneys, the lawyers, whatever they call themselves. They know at the end of the day, you gonna lose, and they gonna get paid. And these are facts. These are facts. That's why anybody talking that black stuff, promulgating that black stuff, that alien stuff, sad. Dr. Thurman, Nature Journal of Science, page 92. From the evidence at hand, it seems that the Iberian black man occupied the whole Western Europe at one time. The whole Western Europe at one time. The whole Western Europe. And then here it is, you're going to let people tell you that you ain't never did nothing in history. You ain't even got to talk about the greatness that you did in Africa, Mansa Musa and all the great African Scott. What about all the greatness that you did in Europe? You see? What all the great stuff that you did in Europe. Are y'all understand what I'm saying? This is what the kids need to hear. Professor Huxley, 1870, The Iberian Race. Page 332. And then before that, y'all look up the word Amazigians. Just do some research. I ain't gonna tell you how to spell it. Let's see if you can research it. See what an Amazigian is, and then get back with me. An Amazigian. You'll be like, wait a minute, damn Sheik. Wait a minute. And then I'm gonna get Thomas Jefferson's Quran, and I'm gonna start showing you stuff, and I'm gonna show you that a lot of sons, you'll be like, wait a minute, and I'm gonna show you some real stuff. Real stuff when you start catching things. Research what an Amazigian is. So, the Iberian, the Basque, the blacks, the bones have been found all over Europe with its animals. So what I'm saying, and what the document said, that I just inserted 8 English white historians to show you that our white brothers who were closer to the epic center, they ain't have a problem telling the truth about the original inhabitants of Europe. Of Europe. The original inhabitants of Europe. The original inhabitants of Europe. The original inhabitants of Europe. These Welshmen, Britain, Irishmen, Frenchmen, Russians. When you talk about Alex Pushkin, these Russians. That's why the Russian icons. Everybody needed it. By Vladimir Ivanhoe. I got the book. They ain't no ancient blacks. They ancient Russians. They icons. Russians, Germans, Italians, and Swedes were in Europe thousands of years before the English arrived in 449 AD. And this will be proven by the writings of Professor Boyd Dawkins. See, they know who Professor Boyd Dawkins is. That's why they won't talk about this, because they know you don't know. And you have to be elite. You have to be illuminated. You have to be the enlightened one, the Illuminati. Say, when people talk about Illuminati, we ain't talking about no scary stuff. No Negro ain't no Illuminati. They ain't even smart enough to be one. Because to know one, to be one, you must know one. And they don't know one. They ain't doing nothing. Ain't no regular Negro on no internet. Nothing. That's hogwash. I'm telling you what I know for a fact. You know? You ain't doing nothing so special unless you a rat, like a lot of those people that I showed y'all, the brothers that set people up that I be showing y'all on the old videos, on the old tapes and Tony Brown journals, where they be afraid to get a parking ticket or go to court or jail, so they'll tell on the whole movement. Like when Negroes be talk about this, but won't deal with the whole misnomer black fake stuff, like Ron Karinga with some damn what they call it, Kwanzaa, and Ron Karinga was a COINTELPRO. Ron Karinga tortured misnomer black women. You see? Yeah. So this is what he said. In this lecture, he gave the detailed account of the people who originally inhabited Europe. And without blushing, this is what he said. Professor Boyd Dawkins, Professor of Geology, Manchester University, London, 1879, everybody. 1879. And this is what I be asking my Moors. I don't debate nobody. That's an ungodly thing. You don't debate nobody. I do lecture. That's why when people be disrespectful, I say you never been to no lecture. Because you don't disrespect the lecturer. I'm giving scholarship. I give reference. What is there to disrespect? Your own jealous heart? That's not godly. If I just showed Tim Wise and other scholars that speak just like me, you know it's the truth. This ain't nothing disrespectful. But when your brother said, oh, it's prejudice, it's all this, no, but what about all the writers that wrote Negro is a beast and you a slave out of Africa and you ain't never did nothing? What about that? What about the ones that look like you that promote that? What about the ones that's promoting that Black Lives Matter and all that stuff? And I give you law and history, civics. We should be done with that. The original people of Britain, France, Spain, England were short black men of about 5 feet, 6 inches in height. They were in England when our fathers, white English, invaded the land in 449 AD. Our fathers were a warlike people who by 607 AD had pushed the Basque west into Wales, Cumberland, Westmoreland, the Highlands of Scotland, and Devon. And see, and I had a professor, and this is no disrespect to anybody that's have a European blood in their system, Albion blood, Trilite blood in their system, but these are just facts. And I be telling my people and my brothers and sisters, you ain't evolved from no monkey. You don't have no Neanderthal DNA in your blood. It ain't no disrespect to no one. This is science. Look it up. See who has Neanderthal blood in them. Around 2%. See who has Neanderthal blood in their system. Because you don't. If that's the case, then what? And this is what I'll be saying. And then when people talk about, when I talk about albinism, well, being an albino, can so-called European Albion Trilodite family produce an albino child? Yeah, if both parents have the gene. It's just a gene, a mutation gene. Now, the question that you may ask me is, well, how did that happen? I don't know. From my educated guess, don't quote me on it. It have to be some chemical imbalance. But yes, Europeans can have albino if both of the parents have that albino gene, that mutant gene, just like a melanated can. But when we're talking about a Neanderthal DNA, you don't have that. And that's why I be telling people when they say their history is a caveman and this, but that ain't my history. That ain't my history. It ain't no disrespect. It ain't. You don't have no Neanderthal DNA in your blood, none. And so, who have Neanderthal DNA? It's the other. You'll see it. It says the Europeans from Europe and Asians. No disrespect to no one. When people be trying to tell you that pseudo academia, and then make you feel down and make the kids feel down. No, we're not going to promulgate that from love, from truth, from peace. Why? Because you can. The color spectrum goes from dark to light. This is no disrespect to nobody. And everybody know that. Everybody should know that. The black people boasted that they were citizens of the Roman Empire. The Welsh or ancient Britons were in possession before the Romans ever came here. Excuse me. Oh, man, that incense stank. Excuse me. These black Basque Britain have brought the knowledge of the iron and the bronze with them. And then in other cross reference, you can see how we brought that and the fire stick and all that stuff and other references, historical documents. The iron and bronze technology will be proven perfectly when you look at the German tapestry, because I broke that down before. These people were herdsmen, possessed a short horned ox, horned sheep, goat, pig, horse. Evidence of their civilization can be seen all over the continent of Europe, as well as throughout the British Islands, extending as far as Germany, Switzerland, and France and Spain. These black people originated from Iberian Peninsula and are a fragment of the old Spanish population. The old Spanish population. I told you. Who ruled Spain? The Moors. They were in France, Spain, Ireland, Britain, Scotland. When they be talking about the King James with the gay edge, we ain't talking about the melanated King James. I told y'all, they always wanted. That's why I be telling misnomer black people, let other people have their stories. That ain't your story. Just like in academia, when I show Greek mythology, that ain't your history. No disrespect. When I show how all the Greek and the Catholic way and grooming was no disrespect. Homosexual stuff, no disrespect. They got mad. And then they didn't believe it. And then when I said, now don't get upset. My professor was like, now y'all disagreeing. When I showed ancient and modern NAMBLA, what NAMBLA was, they in there looking stupid because I started naming people and things modern and ancient that was under NAMBLA, that North American Male Boy Loving Association. You can hear a damn pin drop. Yeah. You can hear a damn pin drop when I say, come on, this scholarship. Can't get mad at me. When I start pulling it all out, historicalness from education-wise, because it's written, it's right in your face. Now what? Can't say nothing. Just because you living in somebody's house and you done took everybody and murdered everybody, that don't mean it's yours. That's why I be telling people, you can't get mad. Don't let nobody else tell your story, no lie. They were in France, Spain, Ireland, Britain, Scotland. One of the techniques that I like to employ detail in research is get close to the point of the event that I can. And Professor Boyd was right there. He mentioned seeing the specimen of black Basque from different parts of Europe and states that if you have laid them next to each other, you would not be able to tell one course from another. The purpose of this section of this book is to prove in the beginning that the historians of the 18th and the 19th century had no problem describing the blackness of every European. Hell, even the European I wrote, The Black Athena, he told some truth in that. Benjamin Franklin, Professor Boyd Dawkins, Albert Churchward gave us eyewitness account of the world order in this generation. Even when you talk about natural genesis by damn, what's my man name that wrote Natural Genesis? It'll come to me. But the eyewitness account of the world order in the generation by Dr. Albert Churchward's eyewitness. Gerald Massey. Yeah, that's his name, Gerald Massey. Churchward eyewitness account gives us a grim description of what happened to the black presence in Europe. The good doctor states that the blacks became extinct, which means exterminated, by the time he gave his lecture in 1912 to the Royal Society in London. It is of extreme importance that we begin this discussion with the eyewitness account of the English historians concerning the Old World Order. It has become obvious to me in my research that the ancient, medieval, and the 20th century historians were describing the Old World Order in their respective generations. These historians describe a world in which blacks were in power all over the earth, and from this vantage point, we shall spring forward into the future to see the secrets pass. Now here go the King of Scots, and I got books with him on the cover. When I be laughing at people, when it's all propaganda, when even Negro do it, oh the King James was gay. What the European one, the Albion, the Trailer one? No disrespect, cause not this one. See, that's why you got to fact check things, and you just can't be listening to no TikTok, or you can't be listening to nobody that got a mission when they're trying to tell you something. Yeah, I'm a Moor, that's where it stops, but I'm an educator as well. I teach all different backgrounds. Most people that deal with me don't even look like me. I got more misnomer Mexicans, the Latinos, and Hispanics that rock with me now after I showed them my own melanated brothers, because they know they Moors. They know they Moors legacy more than misnomer black people. They be laughing at them. Wait till I get ready to go to Vegas. Who y'all see with Fez is on? Watch, whole community. They taking over Vegas. And I rock with them. They know they Moors. They say we ain't no Mexicans, no Latinos, Hispanics. They say those are misnomers that other people gave us to separate us from our family. We like, this Mexico. I'm like, you absolutely right. It's like they know who Noble Ali is. One of the brothers pull out the Moorish Quran in Spanish. He said, we've been knowing this. He said, we've been knowing. He said, look at our attire. He said, our attire is all the same. He said, we know this. He said, we glad to meet you, brother. I said, I'm glad to meet y'all too. But with my people, we lost due to a lack of knowledge because we refused to learn. We gotta stop looking at each other as the enemy. But this is the Scottish King of England. And you can see the image in the Library of Edinburgh, UK. There you go, right there. Look at him with your eyes. You see? They can get mad all they want to. They can get mad all they want to. That's the real King James. King Charles I of the Scots of England. You can look up this in the Elizabethan author, Thomas Hobbes, in 1651. There you go, right there. That's what they have in their libraries or the Royal Archives. This is what they have. This is what they have. This is what they have. When I say, I'll pull out more, but I don't have time. They know what I'm talking about. They know what I'm talking about. Everybody know what I'm talking about. Everybody know. And that's what I be telling us. Our people lost to a lack of knowledge, and they look at me like I'm the enemy. It's sad. And they seeing me operate when I say they waiting for us. When I be telling y'all, man, this is facts, people be mad because they know it's the truth, and they not biblical scholars. They be mad. Because you know it ain't got nothing to do with no European. It ain't got nothing to do with no color thing. If I'm teaching something and I can show you all the scripture, you got to look at your people like, who's this? Because we don't take no oath. I show everybody everything. That's why family's suffering. We promote other people. And this is what I be getting when all my educators and professors that I meet in passing, they be like, man, all this you done, your whole family don't celebrate you? They're like, we don't know nobody that's written all these books, that have a full library, that move 3,000 miles away from Flint, Michigan, and accept it all over. That's been part of the West Valley Health Summit, that done so much community service in the community. Like, and our people don't tune in, and we say we know who we are. We want reparations, but we still promulgate that black stuff, and then we just let people just tell us stuff. Just like my dad was saying, he was like, he loved all the family, but he was like, son, it hurts. It was like people thinking a job is something like they winning. I said, oh, my job is my life. Okay, then you lose your job, and then what? You don't know who you are? You think you're a Negro, black, or colored? How? You say you love the Lord, and see, this is what I ask everybody. Do you love? They say they love Jesus. Yeah. Okay. Well, then how can you put Jesus down on December 25th when that's the Yule, When they say that's Nimrod's birthday, and you put so-called Jesus, which is Joshua, down for Santa Claus. How can you do that? And then in that context, in your Bible, when I ask my people, I say, read Jeremiah chapter 10. See, everybody be on here be acting like they Christians. And I say, read Jeremiah all chapter 10. And then you come back to me and what it say. And nobody want to say nothing. Then they say they love the Lord. You can't, because you're going against the Christ-like teachings. Give me Jeremiah chapter 10 and read it all and tell me what it says. And then if you say you following the teachings of Jesus, because if you are, then you put something before him, just like Masons have a potentate. And you lying, ain't no truth in you, and they act like it don't matter. The Bible telling you what not to do. The Bible telling you don't get a Christmas tree and tie it down. The Bible telling you not to do this, and don't follow the Nicolaitans following Saint Nick. This ain't me. This the Bible. But what Negroes do, they continue to do it, and then act like it's something on me. Because I say, well, you say the Bible, or I never read that. I know you ain't read it, because you don't read the Bible. You don't. You go to church. You go to church. And then when I ask you what do the Bible say about qualifications for a pastor or a teacher, that's what the Bible says. It says it's qualifications for a pastor and teacher. That's why it says, woe to you lying preachers, teachers, whatever, that confuse the sheep. Seminary has nothing to do with no qualifications. You see? And then people get upset. And then they say, brother, because they clearly they can't be a Christian. And then I say, well, what's the etymology of Christian? Everybody be act like they so smart and they know something. Well, the etymology of Christian is Cretan. Research what that means. And when I say that this whole biblical story is ancient stories, and when you start connecting yourself, but you don't. When I say it's inner meanings of the biblical scriptures, and you know it. Yes, you got the general meaning. And then if I ask you if the Bible written in analogy, parable, and symbology, and everybody on here say yes. And I say, if that's the case, then do you know analogy and parable and symbology? No. Well, how do you know the Bible? I don't. If you don't look up the words to see what they were meaning, you're not interpreting. You're misinterpreting. You're mistranslating. It's just like saying Yahshua is Jesus. That's a replacement. That's Greek mythology. And see, and these is facts. If the Bible says praise the holy name, but what? Negroes afraid to give the holy name. That's the sad part. And then they be looking at me instead of asking, and they know damn well we ain't no Islam Muslims. They know damn well we ain't no Freemasons. You know that. I tell you exactly what it is. If anything, you got to know that brother is a sheik and I'm more science. I'm under this Rosicrucian science. I tell you, I'm an educator, a scholar. I'm a rabbi. I'm Melchizedek, anointed and consecrated and educated. I tell you who I am. I'm not no Negro. I ain't took no oath. This fez ain't got nothing to do with no masonry or no Muslim. This is our national headdress. Now Masons have adopted it, and they read in clandestine, especially if your dad a Mason, if your uncle a Mason. I bet you ain't gonna never say nothing about this fez until he died. He ain't gonna say nothing, and he know everything what I'm saying. You see, these is facts. So I love everybody, and it's time for us to come together. See, this is the thing, and I have to speak from my heart because this is my story. I love everybody, but I'm not gonna let nobody talk to me no way. And if a person say they're a biblical scholar, it's just like in martial arts. It's like we in the quiz bowl, and these people think they can challenge me and so heavy. And then the professor say, "Okay, well, let's sit down. Let's go over scholarship with this man. Do you think you so heavy? You get and you lose with high honors. You lose. You get destroyed." And I wouldn't even debate, but that's the facts, and that's what we do. That's what we do. It's levels to everything. It's just like somebody gonna have a debate with a PhD and you an elementary student. That's what I be telling people when people say, "Oh, I got called in a ministry." I say, "Okay, well, what do that mean?" Well, you know, I had an epiphany. Like, what? You had an epiphany, so you're gonna make it up as you go. So what part of the Bible that you're gonna take that you like, and what part of the Bible you're gonna take that you don't like? That's what they do. I'm telling you, when they misquote stuff, like for instance in the Bible, they'll say that abomination, and they be misquoting it. Well, if you're homosexual, abomination. Well, if you do this, if you steal, if you do this, it's abomination. What type of abomination? Now, what abomination mean? Do it mean death? Are you the judge? Why? You looking at the toothpick in your brother's eye, and you got a log in yours. You see what I be saying? This is what I be saying to these people that don't know how to read, that don't have an eye, they ain't anointed, and say that they were called. But then when they brothers sitting right there with them, they won't even come around. That's guilty conscience. So let's deal with this turban rapping before I can get out of here. Peace to my sister. But I need all my people to support, man. I'm gonna continue to say it. You know, don't be a spectator, be a participator. Don't just be loitering, pulling in the parking lot, looking at the store, seeing if we building. You know we building. Support, buy some books, buy some regalia. I got whole lineups in my brother name, workout stuff. Support us, give donations. We give you literature. Help us build something, because once we get it, it's going to be magnanimous. And the only way we can have something is the people. And what we give, and then if you come to class and learn about your tax dollars, I teach these class. You can go and ask your tax preparer. This stuff been falling on deaf ears, and that's what my dad said. And my mom, they were like, son, you just got to keep going till the flesh is gone. Our family, if they don't get it, I know they love me, but people think they be giving you something. And I'm like, you ain't giving me nothing. If you support the temple and school, then it's just like you paying your taxes. It's just like when you file exempt for a couple months and then you start filing again because you don't know and you don't have a real reason why you filing exempt forever. Lawfully, you can file exempt for a certain amount of time on your own, but how you can file exempt forever? You have to be donating to your religious and charitable contribution of your choice. You have to know that. But people be thinking they be getting a tax return. They be letting Uncle Sam take majority out their check. That's why the Catholics, like Sopranos, everything was through the church, and you get a taxes and receipt. Now, depending on the state you're living in and depending on how much you make, you may have to give a little bit more percentage to offset what you're giving Uncle Sam. Like, for instance, in the state of Arizona, if you're making about like 70 grand, you have to give 13%. But it fall on deaf ears, and that's why we'll never see nothing that start from scratch. When I tell people, I ain't come from a church like my dad said, you ain't come from a family where we had a building already and something you can just come into. We have to get it. How we gonna get it to people? But it ain't for you just to spend your money. You gotta live, and we can do this. How? Think about it. Just like how any T.D. Jakes, Joe Osteen, any of them people, they believe those are tax dollars, donations. Just like the Girl Scouts, the Boy Scouts, donations. But when you're dealing with us, you're gonna reap the benefits. That's what this is about. And the money that we give willingly to Uncle Sam, we can decipher that and support our temple and school and get a tax exempt receipt. Just imagine if you was in a high tax bracket. Like, I'm speaking to a lot of other people. Like, my professor was like, once this break off for you, brother, everything that you've been saying and telling your family, I hope they be okay with where the Holy Spirit's getting ready to take you, because we get it and you got us. You know, I need my people help. And this is what I'm telling you. I need my people. You don't have to do nothing more. You think you're getting a tax return and you're not. You're getting a small tittle of what Uncle Sam gave you. The thing is to support your religious and charitable contribution of your choice. That's why I said all we own is our churches and our schools. And then we can own, the school can have, and the church can have parsonage owned under a different tax bracket. This is what families can do. When people be saying they love me and all that, I said, well, if you love me, show me, support it. If I was having parties and having concerts, people would be supporting. I'm getting ready to jump into a whole nother atmosphere. Like, I know people have things. I don't ask people to give me nothing. I help people set their businesses up. I counsel people on how to get multiple lines of credit like I do. And now I'm going through getting my dealer's license, you know, and the guy I bought my truck from is walking me through the steps. I'm going to be registering on Copart, where I'm going to be going to these auctions, and he know how to fix cars, paint cars. And so just having things on the side, but a lot of stuff that I wanted to do, no one would show me. And I know people that may have that. And sometimes you have to be asked, do you need assistance? And here it is, I'm out here, I get asked for assistance. And I give gratitude. And the gratitude that I get, I'm reaching back to my people. I got a lot to give. And if I didn't know what I was talking about, how did I graduate with 2 degrees? How did I graduate with a bachelor's degree and a master's degree? Speaking just like this. How? I gotta know something. And I'm your brother. So, the first thing I'm gonna do is just do a little quick one with the turban. And I have all color turbans. This is a turban. I have turbans, I have she-mags. As you see, I have the fez on. This is the maroon fez. We make the fezes with all the proper perforations for symbology. It takes a couple weeks to make them with the breathing hole. You know, you can get them off our page at moorishhaberdashery.com. But in the near future, I'm going to start doing little raffles. I'm going to be raffling fezes off regalia books, you know, a lot of stuff. Like we produce all our Moorish American regalia, like the lapel pins, all this stuff. I got big boxes of everything, and that's why most of the Moors I deal with, especially my Latino base, they get them all from me. I even know a lot of lower level Masons that get a lot of their pheasants from me because they say, man, no matter what that is, they understand what I'm saying. They're like, why not support you, brother? They're like, they don't need no discount. I got a couple of brothers out here that I met since I've been out here that buy things from our page every month. They're like, cause I can. They're like, your friends go buy clothes and buy alcohol every week. They're like, I can support you every month and give you a donation. He was like, one professor donate $1,000 a month. I give him a tax and receipt. He said, you ain't got. He said, you already done sold me. He said, I know what you're doing. He said, if your family knowing all that, you already have this. You would be going live from your own platform. You have your own library. Everything you want to do, you have a brick and mortar. But your people got to understand that, and that's why families don't have nothing. And I agree, because when we can help, we don't. We just act like we don't, and we just like pictures. I like that. I like that. Families don't be supporting it, but we support all other crap. So I'll just do a little quick tutorial. So as you see, I crisscrossed in the back. Let me take my glasses off. I crisscrossed in the back per se. I don't know if you can see that, like that. So you can do both at the same time, which some people do. So, but if you knew, you can hold it like that between your leg. You can take one. Now it's on you how to do it. I'm doing this real fast. Just want to show you a little quick one. And as you see, I'm taking that like so. I'm taking that like so. I'm taking this like so. And remember, I always can adjust it. So it don't matter how it looks starting off. Now you can tuck that, where you want. Some people like to leave it, but I'm just gonna show you how I tuck it real fast. I just ordered some little utensils. They look like little long little pins, but I call them like little turban tuckers. It's like a little pin, and you take them and you can just tuck, tuck, tuck. And so now I have this whole other part. Now this is a lot of times I usually cut them long because I got all the material in big rolls. I don't want to go on my storage and pull it all out. So I got them in big, big, big yards. And so most people I sell them to, especially new people, I cut them in 4 yards, so you can cut them in half. You can have one, and your wife can have one, or if you want to make them long, or once you get used to doing it, because this is science. Once you play with it a lot and you see the length that you want, or maybe you want a couple of them to be different length, if how you want it. Now you see that I have this piece hanging in the back. Now I can either tuck that, but if it was longer, I can wrap it around and have it under my neck, and I tuck it on this side so where it'll be coming under my neck. So if I wanted to cover my face, I can. Or if I just wanted to rock it under my neck, like you see a lot of them wear. But I might get a longer one and show you that in a second. But let me show you how I tuck it. And like I said, it takes time, and this is what we do. Of course, I can have it way more perfect, but I'm just showing you a quick tutorial. Because when I do it, it don't take me long, but I like to make sure I do it right, stick it in right, So you're getting a good idea. You're getting a good idea of how it's gonna go. You're getting a good idea. I'm sure. I'm sure. I'll do another one in a minute, and I'll do a longer one. Just give me a second. So this is a she mag. Like I said, I have plethora of different colors in these, and I fold it halfway, like so. But I fold it and make it look like upside down triangle per se. Like boom. And then people are like, oh, this thing got nothing to do with no Arab or no Muslim. I show y'all. The followers of Yahshua wore turbans with the jewel on it. People wear your attire. People wear your attire, And so, boom, 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 boom. And a lot of times I take it, as you see, and I fold it over a few times, overlap, fold, fold, fold. I take it. I might fold it 2 or 3 times. It's just your preference. But I have a little bit, and I'll show you. Flip like so, like boom. And now here, bam. And so, you see as I'm pulling on these sides, I got it in my hand. I like to call it little ponytails or pigtails, so you can go like so. You go like so. Now, you have this piece here. Now it's all about cosmetics. Flatten it, flatten it. I'm just doing it real fast, man. Like I said, of course I do it. I take my time. I just don't want to be too long because I've been on here for an hour. Now you see I have this whole part left. So I do the same thing. And you don't want it too tight to where it's hurting your head. That's why I tell people to practice. Practice, practice. We can practice together. I teach these classes. And that's why I tell people I do things one-on-one. I even do a personal trainer. I do things one-on-one with people. If you want to learn, that's the only way you're going to learn. But I also do tutorials. Damn, once you do the tutorial, you can do it on your own. So I'm just doing it real fast because I usually will flip it. So you can see all the color. But that's just a quick one. And you seeing the concept. You seeing how it goes. So I just wanted to show that real fast. I'll do it another time where I take my time with my utensil and I tuck it right, and make it all pretty and smooth how you see me. If you ever follow me on Facebook and on Instagram, you'll see I wear turbans and shemaks every day. I wear them in different styles. I don't wear the little caps. I wear a turban because we're supposed to wrap our turban. You see, every time, and that's another thing. You see how different institutions try to market our culture. Now they got some damn do-rags that look like a she-mag. And I heard a brother on Instagram and TikTok, well, I don't know how to tie a turban. I want to wear a turban, but this is going to do it. That's a do-rag. And that's how they do. They make a mockery of our stuff. And then they making money off a do-rag. Why would you do that? Instead of coming and deal with your brother and get something that's mean, so I'm not going to show you how to make it because you can get something that's cheap. Just like when a lot of my other colleagues that's not Moors and Muslims and different walks of life and my European Jews that get their yarmulkes from me, they say, but I know you. Why wouldn't I get it from you? It means something to me. All the talents that I wear, all my European Jews get their talents from me. They're like, well, you have them. We don't want no deal. We know you. And so that's all I'm saying, man. I give y'all gratitude. But like I said, the book I'm offering today, look up on Amazon and see how much this book costs. I'll tell you right now as we leaving. Let's see how much this book costs on Amazon. I keep forgetting. I know my Mufti's got a list. Okay, so I was wrong. The book is $1,300 on Amazon, but that's still a lot. The book is $1,300. Can you see that price on Amazon? $1,300. I don't know if you can see it good enough. It's all cloudy. Probably my camera. There we go. $1,300. And every book that I convert to PDF, I have them. I have the machine. We convert it to PDF. And our company, binditbooks.com, we print and bind the books for you for a fraction of the price. Or you can get the book PDF from me at mypdfbooks.com. That's books with a Z. Or if you're dealing with me and you come to class when I'm in ministry, you can get it for a suggested small donation. And you can build your library. You can come to class to learn and learn some real history, spirituality, understanding based off the biblical scriptures, because there's no biasness. You can't say you a child of God and then at the same breath call yourself a Negro, black in color, and African American, because the Negro didn't make no slaves. We made in the image of the Creator. These is facts. And no disrespect. And if we're gonna tell one story, tell the whole story. Tell about white cargo. Tell about when they were white and they were slaves. Then I got a whole bunch of a whole bunch of information from first century, from European writers, from Oxford and from Harvard. That's all there about the European slave trade. No disrespect to no one. If we're gonna talk about one, let's talk about both and see what was going on. That stuff that been whitewashed in the history books. So I give everybody love. I say peace to everyone. Like I said, family support. We need y'all support. Don't wait till we get there. Don't wait till we get there. You know, you know, at least be in the perspective, say, man, I got somebody that we support more than some entertainer or some actor or someone that's shucking and jiving, smiling their teeth, or never done nothing and reach back and want to educate and help. Give somebody a chance now to do that. A lot of us don't know other individuals that said, hey, that man said he was going to open up a school with a $250,000. Well, I don't know that person personally, but I do know what it takes and the dynamics and the manpower it takes to have a option, a functioning school, to be open 5 days a week, the manpower. And what it takes to do that, you got to be dynamic. You got to have people that like you. You got to have a lot of volunteers, but then you got to have money involved. You got to have people like stakeholders. And if you don't have that, the dream is good, but the reality, you know what I mean? And so therefore, what we're doing is we're opening our temple in school, not to replace nothing, to add to. We want our kids to get that general education. We want them to deal with that. But after that, we want them to have a place to go to, a sanctuary, just like what the church's supposed to be. With all those preachers and everybody in the community that got these jobs, the educators and lawyers and basketball and athletes, that's the meeting house. Got the gym and all that in the tent. That's it. And so that's what we have to have. Because you look at these churches, no disrespect, after the pastor done, the church closed. The pastor be having about 5 different preachers in a damn pulpit, and the preachers can't even preach, can't even have their own services. You got gym, basketball courts, everything. Classes, computer labs, everything. The church nonprofit, nobody taking advantage of the nonprofit status of the church but the preacher. So please, man, and we just be going giving our money away, but won't support somebody that you know and your family. It got to be a new day. So I love y'all once again. Support our temple and school, morrishaberdasher.com, mypdfbooks.com, and binditbooks.com, binditbooks.com. But my PDF Books, that's books with a Z. Come to class and learn. You can be my guest for ADAPT class every Saturday at 10:30 a.m. AZ time zone, and Sunday school every Sunday at 2 p.m. AZ time zone. Be my guest with my brothers, my muftis, and my family on StreamYard. Even though we broadcast it live on our Temple and School YouTube channel at Burning Bush Tabernacle Science Temple and School, please subscribe. It's free. And also subscribe on our Temple and School on Facebook. But our YouTube channel is free. Please tell your friends and get the likes up, man. If you can't do nothing, get the likes up. If you can't do if you can't donate, if you ain't in the spirit of donating right now, that's fine. If you want something, I will give you some of the piece of wisdom. But if anything that you can do, get the likes up and subscribe to our channel and share it with your family and friends. And if you my family and you my friend, please subscribe and hit me up and say, peace, brother. I like what you're doing, or I don't like what you're doing. No, keep that to yourself. I'll let it plan. But thank y'all, man, for taking time out y'all day. And I love everyone, man. But remember, you have a place on this earth, and you have a right to tell your message. I love you, and peace.